Hello everyone. Once again, drawing Mr. Evan Peters in my sketchbook with a pencil, a mechanical pencil. This time I really wanted to show you guys that you don't need a lot of expensive art supplies to draw, really. You certainly can. And sometimes it's a lot more satisfying to use really expensive materials. And if I have a commission drawing, or painting, I always use the best of the best. But for sketchbook use, this is like $1. This is a mechanical pencil from the dollar store. I don't think I paid more than what is equivalent to $1, a US dollar. And yeah, I will say though that the sketchbook I'm using is a Stillman and Birn, which isn't it's not the cheapest of sketchbooks, but it's so good and paper really matters to me. So yeah, but you don't need expensive sketchbooks either. You can just go with what you have. Anyway, I'm starting out as always with the eyes and just filling in color and building on shades as I always do, trying to map out the face on paper. Also, as I usually do. And coming back to the very cheap mechanical pencil, the reason why I use mechanical pencils is mostly because I'm super lazy. I don't really like sharpening pencils. I used to do that. I have done that a lot previously. And it's just a lot easier to use mechanical pencils. Anyway, for the sketch anyway, you can go in with like really soft pencils afterwards, like an 8B or a 12B if you want really, really dark areas. But for just sketching, I find that mechanical pencils are really, really a good choice. If you watch what I was just doing there, I was just trying to measure out the width of the nose compared to the position of the eyes. So I tried to map that out before going in and placing the nostrils. And from there, I just build up the shading to sort of create the shape of the nose. I don't really ever draw the shape of the nose. I just put in the shading, so to speak, and somehow the nose grows from that. Does that make sense? I just try to plot in some shading, and then I do a little work on the eyes, and then I come back to the nose, and then I start like on the upper lip, and again make sure measurements are right, and then I build a little bit more on the shading of the nose. So I constantly go back and forth. And I usually draw, the reference photo is usually on my phone. But since I'm using that to record this video, I actually had to print out this photo. Oh, so sorry, I'm out of frame here. What I wanted to show you is that I'm using the mechanical pencil as a measuring tool, just to check up on my hand-eye coordination. Am I way off or am I sort of close? And then I just sort of adjust the position of the mouth, the corners of the mouth, and so to speak, and so on. Yeah. So and there's that upper lip. I can tell now in hindsight that the left corner of his mouth, like his right corner of the mouth, is too high here. And that really freaks me out later. This is a voiceover, so I know that it will freak me out later. And I decided to go in afterwards and adjust it. But this is a sketch, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just, it's what it is. And I remember drawing, when I was here at this moment in the drawing, I thought, this is never going to look like him. This is never going to be right. It does not look like him. It's way off. It's bad. It's just really bad. What am I doing wrong here? But I just kept going, and you should do that too. You should never give up on a drawing because, honey, it's so important not to, because if you keep drawing, man, something will come of it. And even if it's not gonna be perfect, it's still gonna be a way to hone in on your skills, to sharpen your skills, to just get better at your craft as an artist. So keep going. Don't give up. Okay? I'm starting to see more and more problems here, but I'm just gonna keep going and starting on the hair, just looking at the hair more. I'm sort of imagining the hair as shapes instead of strands of hair. Does that make sense? So I'm sectioning the hair, or I'm sort of dividing the hair into sections and going from that. And at this point, I decided not to work too much on the hair because there's a lot of light coming from above. So, and I wanted that lightness of the hair. So I'm only like gonna plot in some dark shadows. Again, coming back to mouth, chin, nose, just going back and forth, building and building and building on top of what's already there, and refining and working my way through and just trying out. It's really about learning as you go. I mean, just figuring out as I move the pencil around. I'm not saying you should do this, but this is the way I work. This is the way I like to draw. I'm sort of trying to discover like new territory every time I draw someone or something. I'm trying to map out like an adventure, going into the jungle, going into the unknown. Yeah, that's what I tell myself that I am anyway. But this is fun. This is the fun part. This is where you get to freestyle and be a little crazy. And, yes, I ran out of lead. So, I picked out my 3 kinds. I have 2B, 3B, and 4B. And 2B is the standard, I guess. And 4B, I decided was a little too dark. So I went with 3B. And it's a little, I think there was a 2B in it to begin with. As you can see now that I'm using the 3B, it's really good at enhancing. It's the reason I use the 3B is because it's really good both at doing really dark areas or like darker areas, but it's also really good for shading because it's a tiny bit softer than the 2B. The 4B is really cool too, but it just gets used up so quickly because it's really soft. So I only use that. I hardly ever use it for the sketching. I mostly use it for commission work, or if it's a very, very dark drawing. This drawing has a lot of light, or the reference photo has a lot of light. So so I'm just gonna go with the middle ground, which is the 3B. And now I'm just touching up a bit on some details of this cardigan that he's wearing. I don't really want to do all the knitting pattern, so yeah. And now I got my netted rubber. I'm starting a new one because the old one got too dirty. So this is just to remove the smudging of the pencil that has built up around the face. And then I'm giving it a layer, a spray layer of fixative, which is like a coating that protects the pencil from smudging. And then there's not much left there. This is just to show the things that I used for, Stillman and Byrne, Beta series. And yeah, okay. So I went back in because this fixative that I'm using, it's a Danish brand. You can actually work on top of it. Some fixatives you can't work on after you spray it on. But with this one you can. And you can also, if you haven't given it enough, you can actually go in and remove some of the graphite, which is what I'm trying here. Not successfully. But if you remember me talking about that corner of the mouth is too high up and I need to put it down, and it's not really successful. And this is the point where I said to myself, maybe it doesn't matter that much. This is just a sketch in a sketchbook. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's a fair amount of likeness. It doesn't have to be like a one-to-one. I'm not really interested in copying a photo. You know what I mean? I just want I want it to be fun. I want to have fun and I want to play. So this is the final result. I kind of like it. Yeah, there you go. So thanks so much for watching. Bye.